unless we have any other questions from you all, and yeah, approach us or at any time. Just say, I forget if we said this already, but this is as much a reminder from myself as anyone else, but we have the privilege in this case of having two languages interpreted, as you've already witnessed, which is wonderful, and it will allow us all to participate in whatever language is most comfortable to us, equally all listening to the headsets. But what that does depend on is all of us speaking close to the mic and also relatively slowly and deliberately like this. Hopefully I'm doing that at about the right speed. I'm getting a thumbs up, okay. And we actually have one of your very kind small group moderators who's in the back paying attention to the interpreters, and we'll put up a little sign, I think, or wave to us if any of us are moving fast or we need a little time out. So just speakers or any of us, please don't be offended if we ask you to pause for that purpose. And Jack.
What channel are the languages being interpreted on?
Great question. Channel 1 is Cantonese, Channel 2 is English, and Channel 3 is Spanish. And please let us know if there's any issues with those. And also, I see some folks with headphones on just all the time. You're very welcome. You can use it as an assistive listening device as well, because you can turn it up in your ear and it'll get whatever's on the microphone, even if it's in your own language. David.
Just a clarification, you said that we're going to be rotating seats throughout this process. Is this binder mine to write in? Can I write in the column sides?
Great point. Yes, it is. Those binders belong to you all. You can leave them here at the end of the day. We'll ask you to put your stuff together so we can shuffle it, but you can leave it here or you can take it home to read. You can add whatever notes. You can mix things up as much as you want. You can put dog ears on things, use the highlighters. We've got markers out the wazoo, so do whatever you'd like with it. All right. I think with that, the best time of the morning. Let's take a little break. Over in the other hall on the other side over there is coffee and snacks. And did you have one more thing to say, or are you good? Oh, it's 15 minutes. It'll be 15 minutes. We'll never shortchange a break on you. Promise that. So we'll come back at 10:51 on the dot, 10:51. And yes, one more question. Bathrooms, oh my goodness, thank you very much. Bathrooms are out this door and down the hallway, at the end of this hallway, so right behind that corner back there, but you gotta go out this door. And a reminder, if you have any issues with parking or anything like that, see Grace.
Hello. Hi, everyone. If people want to start settling down, we're going to get started in just 1 minute. It's really great to see everyone talking to each other and starting to connect. And right now we're going to have the design team is going to come up here and talk a little bit more about what this experience is going to be like for you all. And yeah, so again, keep settling down. They'll be here in just a moment. Oh, Michael.
Thanks, Duncan. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Cusack. I'm with the UC Berkeley Possibility Lab. Just a couple quick announcements before we get started. First, you should have received a survey. There should be a form that came on top of your binder that has a paper survey that we would love to collect as soon as possible. If you haven't yet filled it out, this is a great moment to take a look. We're going to have a couple of minutes that you can sit and fill out the survey either on the paper form or online using the QR code. The QR code will also take you to a web link that has the survey translated in Cantonese and Spanish. We also have an announcement for alternates selection. Part of the reason we're taking a couple minutes to fill out the survey now is the alternate selection is happening, so updates on alternate selection should be coming shortly. Please raise your hand if you have the survey filled out and you'd like us to come collect it, or if you have any questions. Yeah.
What is this survey for, and why is our information being collected?
Great question. So one of the things that we're hoping to do is understand how this process was for you all. What was your experience participating in it? What did you think about this process coming into it? And what do you think about it coming out of it? So we're also hoping to collect a survey at the end of this entire process to get a sense of what worked, what didn't work, what could have been done better, what did you learn or take away from this experience? That's the idea of the survey, and I'll also look to my colleagues if I'm missing anything important there.
All right. Oh, Michael.
Is this the same survey that was given to us via email like a few days ago?
It would have gone out in email a couple days ago. So it's if you received a survey a few weeks ago, it's a different survey. I believe.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, although we will not see the results of the survey, your moderators or us, we really appreciate you participating in that if you're willing, because it helps us learn anonymously how well we're doing, and hopefully you'll be honest in knowing that we won't be seeing it and it won't affect the rest of your time at the assembly, but it really helps us. Okay, cool. We're gonna jump into, well, first of all, I'll say to alternates, if you can hold on for a few more minutes to the end of this section, we'll really appreciate it. I've had a little technical issue selecting which of you are the ones who are gonna be called up. So I really appreciate your patience. We'll get you called up right after this next section in just a few minutes. All right, so we're going to talk through just a few things here before moving into small groups for the first time that can happen both in our own minds as we work with information, encounter a new topic, and also what can happen in small groups. And this is not about any of us being better or worse. It's all just human nature. These are things that we all do, every single one of us, no matter how many times we've heard about this kind of thing. And if we can all watch for them in ourselves, mostly, and in other people, gently, then just being aware of it gets us much of the way toward being the best that we can be together and to each other. Now, you all have moderators in small groups, but they are aiming to be as involved as little as possible, for this to be your space as much as possible. So the first thing that I want to mention is this concept called cognitive biases. And you might have heard of this before. Either you've got a handout, I think, in front of you now that is just sort of a simple way of understanding a few of these things. And what assemblies have enjoyed about this in the past is that you'll see these things kind of pop up over time in what other people are saying, often up here. And you'll say, there's one, I see it. And it's not better or worse, doesn't mean they're doing something bad. It's just, it's gonna happen. And this is just sort of a thing to keep a lookout for as the process goes on. We'll ask now and then, hey, anybody seen any of this stuff pop up? So I'm gonna just look at, go through a few of these. And I think the video we still don't have, is that right? No worries if not, we're good. Okay, all right. So this is me doing an in-person version of what is a little video that we'll send around later from one of our longtime partner organizations in Australia who made this. Credit to New Democracy Foundation, they're really great. So these are just a few of literally dozens. There is a massive Wikipedia article that is fun to read about all these different ones. The first one here is anchoring bias. And we'll note probably sometimes where we're trying to prevent that in the process design by allowing, for example, you all to have space yourselves up front before getting a ton of information dumped on you. That's a thing that's happening today. You'll have time in small groups just to explore your own personal experience before the influx of information. And part of the reason for that is anchoring bias. We tend to remember the things we first heard and the things we last heard. You probably heard of people who only remember, will go off whatever the last opinion is they heard. Well, that's a form of anchoring bias. And likewise, the first thing you hear is going to stick in your mind. So we can't prevent that, but as much as we're all conscious of that and try to keep track of the things in the middle, that's great. The second bias to know about is the bandwagon effect, or groupthink, people call it sometimes. And that's basically where you can find yourself, this happened to me literally this week in a meeting, where somebody says something, somebody else says, oh, I agree with that, somebody else says, oh, I agree with that, and you sort of lose track of actually what your own view about it is, and just think, I guess it's easy enough to just kind of go along with the group. And some of that is a good thing. That can be natural to try to work toward, okay, let me see how I can build toward consensus, toward agreement with other people. But it's also important to remember who you are as yourself and not get totally swept up just because other people are thinking one way. Number 3 on here is the blind spot bias. We've all got blind spots, and oftentimes we have no idea what they even are. We've lived certain lives, we've interacted with just a tiny number of people in comparison to the massive world of people out there, and we don't even know what we don't know for the most part. So just trying to figure out, and now what's wonderful about an assembly is you all are representative of Oakland in all these different ways, so you have at your disposal, hopefully, a ton of people who will fill your blind spots, but we all have to allow for that to happen and be curious enough about other people that can happen. Number 4 is maybe the biggest one of all of these. I don't know why they put it at number 4 because, holy smokes, it's the number 1 really, is confirmation bias. There have been all these incredible studies about the information we think we know influencing literally what we hear with our own ears. If we believe something initially and we hear something that confirms that opinion, we're very likely to remember it and remember it strongly, and maybe even more strongly than it actually is. But if we believe something and then we hear something that disagrees with that opinion, we're very likely to not even remember that we heard it. It is absolutely wild. I remember an instance where I was given a report to somebody about a theft that had happened, and I was there with somebody else, and I was so sure that this involved someone with a red backpack, and that I don't think was the case, but I was so sure that I had created that image. Actually, this isn't the most wonderful example of this, but this is another kind of cognitive bias that I reinforced it in myself over time by just saying it out loud. But you get the idea. All right, number 5 is information bias. Now, this can work both 2 ways. So, oftentimes in an assembly, what will happen is that you will start to feel, especially after this first weekend, there is no way that I can even begin to make a decision about this topic. I need weeks of information, let alone just a few days. That this is impossible. And we can delay decisions for a very long time thinking that we need all the information. Well, it is literally impossible to get all the information. People may study it for years and never have all the information, and certainly people making decisions only have a tiny fraction of the information at any given time when they are having to make decisions. So we have to be at peace with the fact that we will try to get as broad a base of information as possible, but that we'll have to move into decision making sooner or later and not get totally caught in just needing more information. And finally, authority bias. Now, this can really work 2 ways. Sometimes we tend to believe folks who are in positions of authority. They're a politician, or they're perhaps a person, who's just a higher ranking sort of person in society for whatever reason. Or we reject folks in authority positions. And both of those can give us a false idea of what the truth might be. So the idea here is to interrogate the evidence. Yes, the person and what their experience is does matter to what the evidence, what the information is that they're giving. But if we can focus in on the information, we're a lot better off because it'll help us sort of move against what our biases about the messenger might be. So those are just a few to kind of keep in your back pocket and watch out for, and use as a little cheat sheet. Anybody have any thoughts about that, by the way, before we move on? All right, fair enough. So the second thing that's sort of brought into this little section is what we call group dynamics. I sort of mentioned you all will be in small groups with moderators. But at the end of the day, you all are responsible to each other, and hopefully we'll be helping each other, both in terms of the information, but also in terms of just being as comfortable as possible to be yourselves, to share information, to work together. So this is in the spirit of that. You all are, actually, I think I hear a little bit of music. That's kind of nice, but if we could turn that down, no, not there, all right. I must just be hearing things, sorry about that. Oh, it's outside. Oh, that's lovely. I can get into that. That's awesome. Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh, so good. Let's see. So yeah, you're all equal as members of the assembly, but we should also recognize that we're not coming into this process with the same comfort or experience. Some folks have been in a group like this before, but most of us haven't. And some folks will feel more comfortable speaking their mind for one reason or another, and other folks won't. You'll have small group moderators, as I said, but they're there to serve you, to make the assembly as good as possible, and it's on all of us. And here's just a little story of one way this can work out. My first ever assembly was in summer of 2016, and it was on a very hot issue at the state level, corporate taxation. And this was like, that sounds a little dry, but this impacted education funding and everything across the state. Absolutely the most massive issue at the time. And there was a recent high school graduate who had responded to the mailing. And she called us in advance and said, I'm definitely not qualified for this. Maybe a couple of you have called us and said the same thing. And we assured her, no, you're absolutely qualified. You live here, fantastic, you're qualified. But she, was very shy at first. She was the youngest person on the assembly by far. And, at first, some folks spoke over her or spoke for her. And she said after the first day that she wasn't sure whether she should come back or not. She didn't really feel like this was necessarily her space. Well, it got better, and in the end, she was maybe the single most important person on the whole assembly. Because in fact, her age was an asset, as it turned out. She was able to have a fresh perspective. She was able to connect with people from different backgrounds in a way that was just easier for a young person. Everybody loved talking to her. And she was one of the most important glue people on the assembly that helped them get to some resolutions in the end. So that's all just to say that let's work together to help each other. It may be difficult here at first. We're all coming from different places, but regardless of who you are, what age you are, education or race or gender, or experience with this kind of thing or anything else, be as much a part of this assembly as possible. And if you feel like you're that woman from 2016, please stick with us. Because let us know how you're feeling, though, and let us know if we can do anything. But just know you might end up being one of the key people by the time we get to early October. David.
Can we turn on the air? Is there like a window we can open or something? Or?
Request for a window to open or a little bit of air in here. It's a little stuffy and hot. Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's see if we can, Grace is on it. Wonderful. Speaking of comfort, oh yeah, there's lots of types of comfort. Appreciate that. And if anybody other has requests like that, we'd love to hear them. All right, I think that's my my little thing that I was going to say here. I am going to pass it to the plenary moderators again, and we're going to be a little bit more formal about the way that we do this here going forward. Before each section, a process advisor will explain what's about to happen, and then the plenary moderators will come up and they'll do the thing. So what's about to happen here, thank you, is that you'll be creating a set of agreements with each other that will apply in your small groups, in the large group here, and they'll apply to all of us on staff. They'll apply to observers. They'll apply to visitors, everyone. You're making some of the rules of the assembly right now. And these are, yeah, these are going to be some basic things. We're going to put on screen a few from a previous assembly, or actually several previous assemblies that have been brought together. So you'll have sort of a starting place. You don't have to start from scratch, but it's a pretty minimal list. And you can choose to adjust them, replace them, add to them. Most assemblies will add a bunch to this list because it's a pretty minimal list. And yeah, so let's just take a few minutes, just a moment to like look at the list, and then your plenary moderators will invite you to add or change to that list. And just one more note, this isn't permanent. You may realize things at the end of the day or the end of the weekend that you want to add to this. That's totally cool. This is your assembly. All right, let me turn it over.
Thanks. Great. So you've heard this term deliberation be brought up a bunch of times already. And so part of what we're going to talk about is what that is and what we've learned that makes deliberation really work well. And so let's see, I'm still getting familiar with these slides here. Oh, look at that. You got unbiased slides. Okay, great. Sorry, just a question to the process leaders here. I have slides about deliberation and then slides about the group. Is this deliberation mode still? Great, thanks. All right. Okay, deliberation. What makes deliberation work? First of all, it works by everyone being open to taking in new ideas, new information. No one has all the information here yet. Then also, you know, there's a lot of different paths we could take, but during this process, the focus is going to be on the issue. So there obviously could be plenty of conversations that can be had, but we really are asking folks to focus on the topic we're trying to solve, which is, ta-da! How do we transform vacant lots and commercial retail spaces and storefronts and big box stores to be sites of Oakland's flourishing and resilience? So that's our focus. All right. People, a lot of voices in the room. Please speak clearly and briefly and try to make sure that everyone gets a chance to speak up. We're asking you to participate fully. Bring your full self here. If you have something to say it. We also ask people to disagree positively. So it's okay for you to disagree. That's what makes democracy work. And try to be positive in your disagreements. Debate is important. And the debate is about the issue, not the people, not the other elements. Collaboration is also important. And we're going to be trying to think about how we can collaborate around the issue. What does it take to bring two different perspectives and get them to work together on one thing together? That is a little bit about deliberation and just generally what makes this process work. These are the agreements that were aforementioned. So I'm going to give you a moment to take these in. Maybe I'll ask someone to speak them into the room, but then we'll see if anybody needs to add something to this list. So go ahead and look at it. Would someone be willing to read those to us? Thanks, David.
Discussion agreements, a starting place. Treat everyone with respect. Be open to new ideas. Listen with care. Keep focused on the issue. Minimize distractions. Speak clearly and briefly. Share airtime. Be yourself. Participate fully. And even disagree with respect.
So these are, again, learned from over time, what makes these kinds of conversations work. Does anybody can think of any agreements that they would like to see added to this list to be more comprehensive? Tina? We need the
pretty
microphone
loud,
because
so-
the interpreters, yeah.
Is this working? Yeah. I was gonna say if then sorry about that. If you don't understand what someone says, feel free to ask them for clarification because sometimes you don't want to feel stupid or something if you don't understand what somebody said and just
Right. So ask for clarification if you don't understand. Thank you, Avery, for capturing these. Yeah, Adam?
Along with share airtime, in other groups, we have like step up and step back. So if you generally are, if you know yourself and you put yourself out there and talk a lot, like as maybe an unconscious bias or what you guys were talking about, like shut up for a while. And if you don't talk, like maybe push yourself to talk a little more. So like I talk a lot, so I'm gonna stop after this and let other people speak up.
Great. Thank you, Adam. So, yeah, stepping up and stepping back, both of those roles are important at times. Yeah.
So I know that we are considered a cross-section of Oakland, but there is a selection bias that we engaged in. We all responded to join this group. And as such, I think we should approach each other with charity and presume good faith.
Yes.
I'd like to propose a rule about not interrupting each other except for asking clarification on what's being said. Might be useful.
No interruption, except for a clarification. Okay, thank you. Seth?
What I'd appreciate most, or I think most of us would find most useful, given the amount of information that will be contained or changing continuously, is an opportunity to return to a previous topic or to explore new clarification, because I suspect that a lot of opinions will be changing quite frequently. So if there's a protocol for that, or if anyone has any ideas, I'd appreciate it.
So how can we capture that as it's not just asking for clarification, it's that we can rewind a little bit.
Yes, just to previously discuss a topic in which we are receiving new information. You guys mentioned a lot about anchoring bias, so I figured that this would be the best way to counter it.
Great. Yeah. So, yeah, here's kind of like it's okay to revisit things.
Yeah, how would you propose wording that, Seth, as sort of like just a concise kind of statement?
I would suppose that would depend on the preferences of the delegation. I have some ideas, but I would not presume to speak on behalf of everybody.
Could something like be open to revisiting topics? Does that capture kind of the spirit of what you're talking about?
It captures the spirit of what I'm saying, I think.
In a moment, we'll check to see if everyone, I mean, does anybody have, in a moment, we'll check to make sure everyone's okay with all of these, so thank you, Seth.
Understood.
Yeah, great. Lucero? No. Oh, yeah, great. Sorry, we'll go Marty and then over here, yep.
Well, I would just ask that we remember those who aren't present. Like, we have no children in this group. We have nobody in a wheelchair. Those are just the easy ones. Remember our neighbors and the people we live with, because we are here to represent.
Curious what you're taking on looking out for other voices that are not here. Yeah, great. So just like be aware of the voices that aren't in the room. Does that capture it for you? Oh no, how would you like to say it, Marty? Yeah.
If you know of somebody that's obviously not being represented and you think of it, speak up.
Thank you. Does that work for you? Speak up for those who are not represented. Thank you, Marty. Yeah, over here. Oh, yeah, and then I see you over here next. Yeah, yeah. Double stacking. All right, great.
I would say also, I don't know if it's an agreement, maybe it is, but all forms of feedback or sharing are welcome. I feel that a lot of people might not feel comfortable speaking up, and so are there other ways of being able to provide your feedback, like written, or ask the neighbor to share your perspective? So respecting that and being open, and for you guys to be open to receive our feedback that is not just verbal, but other ways. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Great. All forms of feedback are welcome. Works great. Hi. Is that Mia? Yeah.
Hi, yeah, Pia, she,
Pia,
they
sorry.
pronouns. One I like especially for discussions is ask for permission before offering advice. Get someone's consent before offering advice.
Yeah, great. Good consent before offering advice. Perfect. Great. Any other important things people would like to see here that'll help them feel comfortable this weekend? Or these weeks? Okay, this is a living list, and that we'll be able to work with, and if people need to add something at some point, or we need to amend one of these at some point, this is, again, your process for you to decide when that is going to be. We will, so to start with, is everyone willing to agree to these guidelines, the ones that are listed here and the ones that are on our sheets of paper? In fact, raise your hand if you're willing to agree. Yeah. Great. David, you're good?
It says ask permission before offering advice. Doesn't that kind of go against being open to new ideas?
Great. This is exactly a good question here. Perfect. Does anybody want to speak to that or help clarify this? Yeah. Thanks, Anthony.
Well, I think it really hinges on what we consider advice, not to get all lawyerly about it, but yeah, I think that actually, is that where where you're concerned? What defines advice?
I'm not into like technical, like I'm just asking, like, so where's this advice being offered to, like, and what part of this process is advice going to be offered to someone? Is this even needed?
Well, that's,
Could we go back to Pia, who made the original suggestion, to sort of clarify what, yeah.
Yeah, I guess just comes from other group spaces I've been in, but sometimes you're sharing a really personal experience and then somebody wants to kind of tell you what to do or tell you how you should do things when they don't know you like that. That was all, but I certainly agree with open to all perspectives. It's just that kind of being told how to move without somebody's permission.
No.
So to clarify, Pia, it sounds like you mean sort of if a delegate was offering another delegate sort of personal or professional advice or something, not really about sharing sort of your ideas or the recommendations that you all are working on, but more about the kind of personal anecdotes that you may be sharing in this process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we got to that point, I think that would be off topic. So I think that would be like, I think you'd be out of bounds with that. Like if you're offering somebody personal advice, you're kind of already stepping over those boundaries. That shouldn't be.
Right. In a way, this is outside of content. The issue is the focus of the conversation. Yeah.
I think keeping it professional and then not getting into those kind of personal boundaries is something.
Yeah.
So I think I can agree with it. Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Thanks for flagging that. And Seth, I'll come to see if you want to add anything. What I hear is, you all will be having lunch together and meals together and breaks together. So there will be opportunities for you to have personal interactions where this may come up. And yeah, for the most part, we're going to be talking about the issue, and there won't be a lot of opportunities for you to be giving each other advice. And thank you, thank you.
I guess that was my chance to ask a clarifying question, huh?
Please. Oh, great. Great. Seth, did you want to add something?
I was wondering if this was more of something along the lines of, in the public setting, refraining from commenting on each other's personal experiences, or something like that. Was that more to the desired effect?
We could go back to Pia as the original suggester here. Pia, does that kind of capture what you're?
Yeah, when, as we're sharing, because from what I understand, we're supposed to share our perspectives and personal experience to help inform answering the issue. So if something like that comes up, not offering anybody any personal advice, yes, yeah. Without permission, of course, yeah.
Seth, could you restate that maybe for Annalise to capture?
Well, actually, I believe that you guys already kind of did initially when you were talking about the debate the topic, not the person, or whatever it was, where you had the little sections between the people. But if I were to come up with a phrase,
But do you remember what you said? I think just Annalise didn't capture. Yeah, we didn't capture exactly what you said before we checked with Pia.
I suppose I could just say refrain from commenting on people's personal experiences without permission in the public space, because I believe during the smaller group discussions, we'll be kind of having more personal conversation, but just because we're on camera.
Great. Thank you, Seth. Does that sort of capture, Pia, your concern, and hopefully maybe addresses David's concern as well about sort of keeping us on topic in the public portion of the conversations? Yeah? Great, thanks.
Now, is everyone willing to agree to these agreements? You're in, all right. Yeah, that's the yes. You finally got that hand there. I'm glad I asked. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. So again, the moderators are going to be here, and they'll become much more relevant here in a little bit as we break into small groups, which will be explained in a moment. But they're here to help you, remind you of these. And they're not here to police you, but all of you are welcome to speak up every once in a while, and remember, chime in with any of these if you feel like that they're important. And again, they'll be guiding us along the way so we can have great conversations with each other that are productive and helpful. And I think I'm going to pass it over here to Jonathan to into our next section. Yeah.
Okay, now's the time you've all been waiting for. Small group moderators, would you stand up? Raise your hand so we can see who you are, everybody in the room. So we're going to start at this end of the table. Actually, I just wanted to quickly ask, is there any question about what the small group moderator's role is from anybody? Any questions about that? Okay, we're going to start at this end of the table, and we're going to break you up into groups of 5. So we're going to start with you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You 5 will be group number 1, and then the next 5 will be group number 2. Next 5 will be group number 3. Next 5 will be group number 4. Next will be group number 6 or 5. Did I say 5 already? Anyways, 5, then 6, then 7, then the last 5 will be group number 8. Okay, and you'll have a small group moderator at each of your tables. Yes, John. We're going to start here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be group 1. Yeah, and then we're going to go all the way around until we get to 8, or at least group 8. So, okay.
We had a question. Maybe we could divide up. You could kind of make more clear where the break points are. So, yeah.
Got it.
Did you guys catch that? There's an orange Post-it note that should be the divider between the groups of 5. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah.
Okay, so, um, no, you're fine. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I forgot to mention earlier, I was prompted to mention that we had a meeting earlier, and I failed to mention it, but I heard Lauren talk about someone you can talk to. I also want to offer myself up as someone who will listen, and you can talk to me as well. I'm not a licensed clinical therapist, but in my professional role, I do a lot of listening. So please, if you need me, I'm here. So we're going to go ahead and start and do that. I think we're good. The first 5 can stand up, and you're going to go with me, and we're going to go that way. And then the next 5 will stand up. And small group moderator number 2 will take you also into the room. You guys can go ahead and go in the room.
And
I'll be in there.
just to clarify, there are table markers with the group number in the small group room. So look for your group number in the center of the table. Thank you.